We're back Monday night. Hey, Anthony.
Hey, what's up, man?
You know what's up. I feel very sick right now.
I know.
But I made it. They didn't let me in the building. My ID is expired for some reason, which does not bode well for the future of the show.
Oh, really?
We're in trouble.
I don't know, man. I got in.
You got in?
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'm gone. I'm gonna pass you the keys. Keys to the kingdom. I just got back from Tampa.
Yeah.
And boy, are my jokes tired. 3 shows in one night Saturday. I was sick. And it's like 3-hour-long sets when you're sick.
Yeah.
And they, you know, and they wanted to laugh, but I mean, that hurricane. You know what my opener was? I said, man, I thought the hurricane was going to hit a lot harder and I was going to be able to get out of this weekend. They liked it. You were in Minneapolis, right?
Yeah, I was in Minneapolis.
How was that?
It was great.
Great club.
Yeah, it was great. I'm healthier than ever. Things are going well. Yeah, no, it was a great club. I did radio and like, so the guy's talking to me about like, you know, my girlfriend, she's 8 years younger than me. There's, you know, the age difference or whatever. And he goes, he was like, I bet you get asked this a lot by a bunch of bad radio hosts. Like, they probably ask you, like, what's it like to sleep with a 26-year-old? I was like, yeah, no one's ever asked me that before. I mean, like, clearly you want to, but...
I bet if you get asked this all the time, but what's your girlfriend like naked?
Yeah.
No one's asked me that.
Yeah.
That is ridiculous.
Yeah, man.
Well, we got a great show today. We got Anne Burrell, celebrity chef.
Yeah.
Anne Burrell and Sam Morril.
Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Combo, man.
Yeah, okay.
This show's going to be off the hook. We're back on People Talking Sports with celebrity chef Anne Burrell.
Hi.
We're talking cats.
We're talking cats. I thought we were supposed to talk sports, but I'd be happy to talk cats.
That's the other stuff.
Okay, all right. Let's talk food.
Let's talk food.
Food, cat food?
Well,
No, just kidding.
I love watching you on Chopped or any of those shows. You know, I saw you have a moment on Chopped where you got worked up once. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do remember that. I mean, I will say this. Chopped is the hardest show there is to do. It is absolutely 100% real. That 20 minutes or that 30 minutes is absolutely 20 or 30 minutes. And yes, I did have a moment where it was a seafood tower and I was making pasta dough and I was kneading it and like the water kept spilling over from the melted ice because the thing was broken. So I tried to move over and they just kept telling me, no, you can't move over. So I just pushed the tower off the front of the table. It was not one of my proudest moments. And I apologized, but then I was just like, ugh, that wasn't good. But I was like, I'm not going home for this. And then I ended up winning the whole thing.
Yeah.
So.
No, I liked it.
So I won it for charity. It was for charity.
You were like the meta world piece of Chopped. It was like a tough. I liked it because it gave you character. I thought.
I mean, people know me as a competitor, like a fierce competitor.
Yeah.
Like once I start doing anything competitive cooking, like it's like I turn into another person. I just like really just like, yeah, it's like it's not even myself. I don't know what happens.
It's like the sports element of cooking, right?
Yes, exactly. And I mean, maybe that's why I like sports so much. I mean, I view competitive cooking as a sport. It really is. I mean, you have to put your head down and focus. I run everywhere. I am like not this person that's just gonna walk over to the fridge and get stuff. No, And like, get out of my way. Don't try to talk to me, and I'm gonna win.
I'm a stand-up comic, so I think a lot about like how you kind of rise in stand-up comedy. You're an MC, then you're a feature, and then you're a headliner. In cooking, you're a line cook, a sous chef, and then a chef.
Yes.
So
well, that's usually the plan. It doesn't always go like that.
Yeah.
So it's so funny you say about comedy because I always say comedians work for the laughs and chefs work for the head bob. So you see when people eat food and then you can tell immediately if people like it or not because they've tried and then they go, so I'm like, all right, that's my equivalent of laughs.
Do you ever, like in comedy, where like there's like back of the room comics where like, oh, that person isn't like, they're not always well received, but we think they're good, and then there's the opposite. There's a crowd pleaser who's sometimes kind of hacky. Are there people you look at, you're like, well, that person, they're well liked, but they're kind of hacky?
I don't know what you mean.
Are there hacky ingredients? I feel like bacon's overused.
Bacon is never overused.
Really? What do I know?
Stop.
I love bacon. I just feel like here's my stance. Bacon, it's not overused, but it can be used as a crutch. Is that fair?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay.
And fat in general, stuff like that in general. Yes. And there's things like there are ingredients like. Truffle oil for me is one of those.
That was what we talked about beforehand.
I am not.
People are patting themselves on the back for that one.
I am not a fan of truffle oil.
How about truffle fries? They're pretty good.
No.
Really?
Like, no.
All right, I'm a Philistine. I don't know. What's your hangover meal? When you're hungover, I do a jug of Pedialyte, Law & Order SVU, and
hello, Olivia Benson.
Yeah.
Really?
What's your hangover meal?
Well, okay, geez, really? Am I going to talk about this? I'm rarely hungover, yeah, right. Anyone who knows me knows that I can't even say that with a straight face. I have a couple. I have, because I'm so hungover so regularly. So I love a good fat piece of pizza, like nice greasy, anything with tomato sauce kind of, it's like those electrolytes, greasy, salty, cheesy, tomatoey. I need that chicken parm.
Yeah.
I can hoover that like a champ. Or French fries with gravy.
Oh, wow, gravy. I wasn't expecting that one.
Oh, yeah, no, that's real. It's greasy, salty, like fat, yeah.
So tell us about Phil and Anne's Good Time Lounge.
GTL does not stand for Gym Tan Laundry anymore.
Yes.
It stands for Good Time Lounge. So Phil and Anne's Good Time Lounge is in Brooklyn, in Cobble Hill on Smith Street. And it's basically just a neighborhood kind of joint. So my partner Phil does the bar side of things, and I do the food side of things. We're kind of like mom and dad in the restaurant. And it's just a collection of dishes that are kind of my favorite things to eat. So things range from like a roasted cauliflower steak with a mushroom ragu and a poached egg to really some spectacularly delicious meatballs to...
I've heard about the meatballs.
Have you?
Yes.
I'm famous for my balling.
Yeah.
All right. And then the dishes like a dry rubbed ribeye or a brined pork chop that's really delicious, best pork chop you've ever had.
I'm coming through for this.
Please do. I would love to feed you.
And you did a Cheeto meatball as well, right?
I did a Cheetos pop-up. I mean, it's so funny. It was a 3-day situation, a 3-day pop-up restaurant. And I got more press from that than anything that I have ever done.
Why is that? Because it's so different?
People are so crazy for Cheetos. I had no idea. There were 25,000 people on the waiting list.
Wow.
Crazy pants.
That is crazy.
But it was really fun, and working with the PepsiCo people was delightful. And I think I just got the orange dust off my fingers.
So also, you got to tell us about Worst Cooks on Food Network.
Worst Cooks, so season 11 is airing right now. It's Worst Cooks Celebrity, and so we find out celebrities just like, I can't say me, but us, that they're bad cooks too. They're just really
who's particularly bad?
Oh, well, it was a little heartbreaking when I had to send Eric Estrada home this year.
Oh, man.
I mean, Punch. When I was a little girl, my sister and I used to have arguments being like, I want to marry Punch. No, you can marry John, and we were like, I was like 7.
Wow, how times have changed.
Right? And then I had to send Punch home. I was like, I guess we're not going to get married, Punch.
That is rough. All right, we got more with Anne Burrell after this break. People Talking Sports. We're back on People Talking Sports. What an amazing panel. First off, you know her from Iron Chef and me from Flaccid Comedian. Anne Burrell. We got Anthony DeVito's here. Anthony's special is out Comedy Central October 6th. Check that out. And third off, we got Stavros Halkias, who is the only guy to get away with wearing flowers after Labor Day. And I love that you have the Rangers' blue hair.
I know. Well, tonight is the very first preseason game of the season, and I'm totally going. Are you kidding?
I'm excited for that.
I can't wait. I'm like, I realize it's only a couple of months that they have off a year, and the poor guys need some rest. But I'm like, where's hockey season? Where's hockey season? I can't wait.
Have you cooked for any of the Rangers?
I have actually. Last year, I cooked with Kevin Hayes and Jimmy Vesey on the Rachel Ray Show.
Wow. Cool. What did you make them?
Well, they actually cooked. We made chicken under a brick, but you have to, the way you cut it to open it up is called spatchcocking. So I did that on purpose to hear how many times I could make them say spatchcock.
We're a family show here, Anne.
Right, exactly.
the Knicks rookie, who I'm really excited about, Frank Ntilikina, kid from France, says he has goosebumps just being at MSG. I did too. I thought it was goosebumps. Turned out it was herpes. But
I was kidding about the Photoshop.
MSG is the mecca for basketball. So is there anywhere as a cook that you feel?
I have to say, I feel like that every time I go to Italy. You just eat anything in Italy and it's just more delicious.
Yeah.
Like even the Italians have a thing. They say, "Oh, we can feed the Americans anything," and they think it's amazing. I'm not quite like that, but just whenever I go over there, and I just the way the food tastes, the way it looks, just the stores, it gives me goosebumps.
Yeah.
Every time I go into Wendy's, I get goosebumps.
Yeah. The spicy chicken sandwich.
That is the go-to at Wendy's.
Yeah.
The spicy chicken is the obvious Wendy's choice, right?
We're asking Anne Burrell about Wendy's.
She went to it though. That should say something, right?
I have to say, I don't really eat fast food, but if when push comes to shove, I would eat a Wendy's spicy chicken sandwich with cheese or an In-N-Out burger.
Wow.
Yeah,
there we go.
That is huge press.
Every time I go to LA, I'm like the car driver. I'm like, can we go through In-N-Out drive-through?
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Do you have to put like sunglasses on and a trench coat?
I actually go through the drive-through now because one time I was trying to save time and went in and I wound up on page 6 for being Anne Burrell waiting patiently an In-N-Out burger and I'm like, well, what else would I do? Wait impatiently? So I'm like, really? It must have been a really slow news day. So now I just go through the drive-thru.
Or if you go animal style?
Double animal style, no tomatoes, extra spread, fries, well done.
All right.
Well done.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a chef
pro
move, because I
move.
don't think, I asked crispy, but well done is how a sophisticated person asks for it.
I don't know if I necessarily call myself sophisticated.
Well, in the food world, come
Oh,
on.
all right.
On this panel.
Yeah, we're setting a low bar. Right.
Marco Arsenio, the soccer player, is going to miss the Champions League after hurting himself shaving his legs. These Euro players are not as tough. There's another soccer player who's out 4 to 6 months with a gelato brain freeze. And, another guy hit his head when fainting because Gucci ran out of his favorite loafers.
These soccer players, they're so pretty.
Do you get? What's your worst cooking injury ever?
I've had more stitches than I can count, always on my
Really?
left hand because I hold my hand with my knife with my right hand. So, and it's always on this finger. I'm like, am I trying to cut this finger off that I don't want to get married or something like that? I don't know. I don't know.
I gotta say, we were mentioning Chop. I think you got robbed in All-Star Season 1. I want to say,
Tell me about it.
yeah, you absolutely.
Tell me
I want
about
to stand up for you right now.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, but I'm happy you won Season 4. So I'm a big fan, is what I'm saying. I've been a little quiet because I'm starstruck, if I'm being honest with you.
I
but
burned my eyeball on that one. Like the grease splattered in my eye
God.
on the first round, and I was against Robert Irvine and I can't remember who else. I just remember Robert Irvine. They're like, you can go to the emergency room if you want. I was like, are you kidding? Lay down to Robert Irvine? Of course, it happened in the very first round. And then when we wrapped at like 10 o'clock at night, that's when I went to the emergency room. And they were like, oh, yeah, we can see exactly where you burnt your eyeball. And I was like, oh, good. Can I have some, drugs or something? And they're like, yeah, no. Just keep your eye closed. You don't go to bed. You're fine.
You don't get drugs for a burnt eyeball?
No.
Wow.
They're like, here's a Tylenol. I was like, what?
I got a guy in Astoria that'll hook you up, no problem.
Yeah, he does burnt eyeballs, all kinds of things.
Right?
The doctor shops in Astoria, they have a bodega cat walking around. Very different.
Baseball season is in full swing right now. What song would you choose to come out to your walk-up song?
Definitely something with AC/DC.
I love it. Thunderstruck. All right.
The Bee Gees, More Than a Woman.
More than a woman. All right. We nailed that one.
I'm Too Sexy.
I'm Too Sexy is perfect, and that's the song I come out to in the bedroom.
Let's Beat It from Michael Jackson. To Unlimited, Twilight Zone.
Wow.
Maybe not just like that.
We're not paying him enough at all. That was a lot. So we're talking about during break. you met Henrik Lundqvist, is he your favorite?
Well, I mean, first of all, we all know what he looks like.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous.
It is a little ridiculous, yes. But so, yes, I met him at, like, behind the scenes before a hockey game one time when he was injured, and it was his birthday, and I followed him on Twitter, and he had a throat injury, and he had said one time that he put on Twitter, you know, oh, I have to eat soup, and so, I mean, I wear a Lundqvist jersey to a lot of games, and so when I got to meet him, and he was wearing this beautiful overcoat that had a fur collar. And I realized I was talking to him, and I was like, I would make you soup, and I would make you a birthday cake. And then I realized I was petting his collar. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? And then he was like, I gotta go. I'm like, oh, but really? Was I just petting the most beautiful man in the world? Like, what am I doing?
Yeah, that combination of like your offer plus the petting together is like so like I'll make you soup.
I know, I'm your number one fan. Right? Like, that girl is a creep. Right?
No, you're a fan. I mean, and also, you don't expect a hockey player to look like that. It's ridiculous. You expect the stereotype of no teeth.
I was going to say, he's got all his teeth and everything.
And he's got great hair.
Yeah, he's got a lot of great
He's a good
stuff.
dresser.
Yeah.
I will sleep with him, too. That's what I'm trying to say. Jordan Bell, the Warriors rookie, had to guard LeBron. He said it was the hardest player he's ever guarded ever. I mean, to go from college and then to have to guard LeBron James, that's like being a divorce lawyer and then being like, fix the Middle East, you know? It's a big jump.
Yeah, for sure.
Is there anyone that you ever were like, when you first arrived, that you were like, oh my God, like this person's legit?
Well, I will have to say the very first time I ever met Mario Batali.
Yeah.
I mean, Molto, and then I ended up working for him and doing Iron Chef on Food Network with him. I mean, that's how I got on the Food Network, was from Mario. But the first time I ever met him, I was like, wow. Mario, I mean, is just a force of nature. He's captivating. He's so smart. He's so fun. And I knew he was best friends with Michael Stipe, and I was a huge REM fan at the time.
Oh, yeah.
So, you know, we're talking, and then he's like, all right, is there any questions? Do you have any questions for me about the job, whatever? And I was like, can you get me REM tickets?
Wow, in the job interview. You're like,
I was already hired, and I was like, he's either going to love me or hate me for this.
Right.
I was like, but I got REM tickets.
He got it?
All right.
I like that question out of the gate, because it's like we have a mutual interest.
Right, exactly.
not?
Right.
Can we get some Knicks tickets?
Yeah,
Let's do it. No, we tried. So Mario Batali, do people come to you ever? Do they ever like, you're my person?
They do, and it's really sweet. What my favorite is when it's kids. Because I was such a huge Julia Child fan when I was a little girl, that if I could ever be that for someone else, that makes it all worth it.
How would she do on Chopped, Julia Child?
There's like different era comparisons.
Confidence. She would probably just make a martini and be done with it.
I want to do like a drinking shop. I think that'd be fun.
Could probably win that one too.
Drunk Chopped. You're the blue chipper. Yeah.
I could throw down with that one.
What's your drink?
A lot.
Do you have a go-to cocktail?
Yes, I do.
What is
And at
it?
my restaurant, I call it the Chef Anne. It is Tito's and soda with a splash of grapefruit and a lime.
Ooh, I love that.
I'm personally working on keeping Tito's in business single-handedly.
Vodka. All right.
I'm a vodka girl. Vodka or wine.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Do you ever
good.
do vodka and wine? Yeah. Little thunder and lightning?
Carson Wentz got a shout out from Miss America. The quarterback, Carson Wentz, usually when a Philly guy gets a shout out from a woman, it's please leave me alone, I have a boyfriend. But not here. What's the coolest shout out you ever got?
Let's see. Well, oh my gosh. I think when last season, when Jimmy Vesey was signing with the Rangers, and they MSG had a lot of people tweet to Jimmy Vesey to try to convince him to sign with the Rangers. And so when he did, Kevin Hayes texted me and said, all right, I just signed with the Rangers. Now Wednesday, Anne Burrell going to make me dinner.
Whoa.
I was like, get out! And then when I cooked with them on the Rachel Ray show, Kevin told me that Jimmy only scores when I'm there, and that some of the older guys say, oh, Anne Burrell's here, you're gonna score tonight. And I was like, oh, really? They know who I am? Get out of here! And Lundqvist is like, oh, stay away from her.
We're back on People Talking Sports with Liz Gonzalez, and another thing.
So I have a confession to make right away. So when Iron Chef America was on, that's the first time I saw you on TV, and one of my life goals was always to be a guest judge. How long does that show film? Because I've heard that it's a long process.
Yes, it would take like probably 6 hours to shoot one episode. Whoa. Wow. It was a long time, but it really was 60 minutes of cooking time. And it was so nerve-wracking, but it would take a long time to shoot an episode.
How many burns or cuts did you have just from filming that show? Because you're always just like running around like a maniac.
There one time, I have to say, I almost cut off the whole tip of my thumb on a mandolin, and I was scared to death that Alton Brown was gonna see it, and I was like, no, not us. And then I had like one of those little finger condom things on, and at the end of it, it was like filled up with blood. You could see, and you could see me going like this with it. It was horrifying.
Did you get it in the food?
No.
Perfect time to bridge over to the NFL. So Andy Dalton this past week played in his second game of the season, and in his second game of the season, he did not throw a touchdown pass. The next day, the Bengals fired their offensive coordinator, and now fans want Andy Dalton to be benched. Now, I am not a Bengals fan, but I am a huge Andy Dalton fan. I saw him play when he was at TCU quite a bit, and in 2015, he won me my first ever fantasy football trophy. But if I have to take my heart out of the equation, I would admit that season he had a perfect O-line. He had Tyler Eifert, he had A.J. Green, he had a ridiculous defense. So maybe everybody's right and Andy Dalton is just not as good as I think he is. Is this a case of sometimes the heart is a liar?
Yeah, I mean, apparently they locked him out of the practice facility with no sunscreen. So that might have been the
Poor guy.
Well, he doesn't play soccer.
That would be the end of his career, just like sitting out in the sun too much.
Yeah, sometimes you have the perfect situation, and he had it. And look, so we saw you can be a great player and just not have the right situation. I think we saw with Carmelo, like when they had that great year, he had the right pieces around him. He just hasn't had the right pieces since.
So is your question like, have we ever loved someone despite all the evidence that you shouldn't?
Yeah, but you just love them, like a family member maybe?
Oh, yeah, yes. My answer then is Emmanuel Halkias. I love him despite the horrible job he did raising me.
I'm getting really
I'm glad they don't get MSG in Baltimore.
Yeah, we're fine. He doesn't speak
safe.
that much English. We're okay, guys.
Well, on that bright note, this has been a great People Talking Sports. Thanks for watching. Tomorrow night we got Chris Broussard, the Sin City Cobra, James L. Mattern. Keep watching, guys. Thank you so much, Anne.
Oh, this was so fun. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.
All right.